Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of our Holistic Health Expert Interview Series. I've got Tammy Anderson Ward with me today. Hi, Tammy.
Hey.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Absolutely.
You bet. So for those of you who don't know Tammy, she is an amazing person, and she has been in the holistic health industry for a lot of years now. And she is a conference producer and an educator and an author and really an expert in several different holistic healing modalities. And really, I think she just works so hard to be a mentor and a teacher for everyone so that they can find their full potential and live the life that they need to be and really shine on this earth and fulfill their mission. So welcome, Tammy.
Thank you.
And I also want to say one of the things that's amazing about Tammy is she's a mother of 8 kids, and you homeschool as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Fabulous. So one of the conferences she hosts is a homeschooling conference every year. And is it just the one that you do, or do you do Arizona as well? Do you do a couple?
Yeah, this year we're doing one in Layton, Utah and Mesa.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So that's exciting too. And then she does energy healing conferences, and she's got one of those coming up really quickly on December 1st. And we are so excited about that. And we'll talk a little bit more near the end. And so we are just so excited. She's going to share with us a little teaching presentation she has that gives us the basics about energy healing and energy work. Do you want to say anything more about it, Tammy?
Yeah, well, it's just, I know there's a lot of people out there that are curious, or maybe they've heard about it, but they have felt reluctant for whatever reason to not learn more about it. This is a super, non-invasive way, non-threatening way for you to be able to learn about what is it. And then you can learn more and find out for yourself. You know what I mean? I'm going to teach you the super basics, and it'll probably be maybe 20 to 30 minute presentation here. So it's not going to take too much of your time. And you'll be able to grasp what it actually is. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, and I think that's perfect for my audience. So I'm really looking forward to sharing this with them. Okay, I will then, I'm going to turn it over to Tammy, and she's going to show her presentation.
Awesome. So yeah, one of my favorite things about what I do is hashtag Grammy Tammy.
Oh, cute.
I'm a grandma too. I'm like, don't forget that. It's one of my favorite things.
Oh, that's right.
And anyway, I love being a grandma. Being a grandma is one of the best things in the world. So, all right. So here we go. This is our presentation. It's just called Energy, Health, and You. And I'm trying to figure out how I move. Can you maybe move the pictures of us over to the corner so that we're out of the way? Are you able to do that? It won't let me.
I've got,
I can
yes.
click it and it'll let me move my screen, but it's not going to let me move the pictures. Can you just maybe grab our little pictures of us and move it over to the side? Is it letting you do that?
I'm doing it now. Is that working on your end?
Yep. And that's probably what they're seeing. So,
well, that should work for the recording.
I'm just going to move it over here and then I'll go back. There we go. All right. No worries. Okay. So we're going to go over here to this presentation. And then I just wanted to ask right at the beginning here, will you have an open mind? So even if you've heard of these things before, or if you haven't, maybe you've heard some things that are incorrect, or maybe you've just felt a little bit nervous about it because it's different. I'm just asking you to have an open mind is all. So here's some basic definition when it comes to what an energy system is. Everybody has, you know about your skin system, the muscles, the bones, you've got your digestive system, respiratory, you've got all these different systems, but you also have an energy system, and it is very complex, and it's made up of all different types of things. The meridians, the chakras, you guys have probably heard of these things before. If you're living in 2018, it's kind of hard to not have heard of a chakra before, or a chakra, depending on who you are, right? The meridians, very simply, first originated, like they were founded in Chinese medicine. So if you're familiar with things like acupuncture or acupressure, or even things like, what's another one? Foot zoning. These are literally energetic highways that run through the body. You can see most of them are vertical, but some of them do kind of slightly move over a little bit, right? Depending on which meridian is and where it is and all that good stuff. But when you're doing an acupuncture appointment, what they're actually doing, what is they're putting in the needles in certain locations in your meridian points, and they are unblocking any blockages that are in those pathways. Because all of those meridians, it's an energy flow, and you want to keep it flowing, and literally that will do that. Now, I'm a foot zone practitioner as well, and I've been trained. Took me 9 months, $4,000. Like, it's a pretty serious education and investment. It's not something that, like, I decided overnight and then, like, Monday I was certified, right? This is an actual education. I had to learn about the anatomy of the body and how the different functions work, and also about the energy systems as well. So when I'm foot zoning someone, I can literally do different points on the feet and do some of these same things of what they could do with other modalities. Okay, so just kind of let you know, this is what a meridian chart looks like. This is what it is. So what is a chakra? Now, this is one of my favorite things to learn about right now. A chakra, or a chakra, there are 7 main, they start at the very crown of your head and go all the way down to the bottom of your spine. There's 7 main ones. You also have hundreds of chakras that come out of the ends of your fingertips and the palms of your hand, and also the bottoms of your feet as well. You actually have hundreds of chakras. But these 7 main ones that people are talking about right here are probably the most common, the most well-known. Okay, so basically what they are is an energy center, and they literally have the crown goes up, and then the root one, the one that's, if you look at the chart here, number 1, it actually goes like a funnel going down to the ground. All of the rest of them look like a funnel of energy that's going out the front and the back side. So that's kind of what, a little bit more about what they look like. Oh, here's a picture right here. So it will actually tell you about the flow. And you can see, I mean, this is a naked guy. I mean, sorry. I don't have anything better at this point, but this kind of shows you what the flow looks like. One of my favorite things to do is to help people with chakra clearing, balancing, the energy connection. It's something I'm really good at, and I've been able to help a lot of people with all different kinds of things. I've had some people, one lady, she contacted me. I met her at a yoga festival that I had been at, and I just started doing chakra balancing and clearing for some people there. And one lady contacted me. Within 1 week, she said she'd kicked out her boyfriend who was abusive. She got a new job. She was making almost double the amount of money. And she'd also moved into a new home that was much better for her and her children. And what I thought was really interesting was we were working with her heart chakra. And so she said, seriously, like, do people know how life-changing this can be? Now, we don't make any guarantees or claims, or we're not, like, claiming anything like that. I don't think it would be an ethical thing for me to do that, because everybody has different results. Some people are going to have the results like that, while someone else might, I don't know, maybe they have an infection that they had in their toe went away. Or maybe, you know what I mean? Like, the results could be every end of the gamut. That's what I'm saying. But chakras are really, really important. They actually have a connection to each of the organs, and there's all different types of things that you can do to keep them healthy. I'm trying to keep this on a basic level, so we'll just kind of stop there. What is a biofield? You guys already know this. Intuitively, you know this. People will say, oh, you're in my bubble. Like, you've heard somebody say something like that, or if somebody gets too close to them, like, oh, you're in my bubble. What you're actually saying is you're in my energy, or you're in my, I can feel that. Another terminology is also used for this is the energy field or the aura. Some people say your attitude or your mood, right? Or just the energy that's around you, the flavor, the vibration of that
your
person.
Light, like how bright you're shining.
Or your vibe. Exactly. So, I mean, people already know this, but now technology is advancing so much that it's catching up with so many of these things that a lot of people already knew intuitively, but now they can actually take a picture of your biofield and they can see where the blockages are. And an energy
Really?
oh yeah. We have these at our conferences. An energy practitioner can move the energy and clear out blockages and different things like this. And you can now, in real time, because the technology is so advanced, you can actually see those blockages move. Like it's like a video camera, not just a still photo now. Mm-hmm. And so you can watch them clear out, and people feel the results. They feel different. There's so much. I mean, we're just trying to do this in a short presentation today, but there's so much to learn and so much to know. This isn't just woo woo. This is only one woo. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. So people ask me, what is energy medicine? So really, it depends on who you talk to. You can talk to somebody over here or somebody over here, and you're going to find totally different definitions. And really, the reason why is because they're so different. So I'm going to give you a left brain definition and a right brain definition. Okay, so this is the left brain definition. This is from Dr. David Feinstein. He's actually spoken at our conferences before. He says conventional medicine at its foundation focuses on the biochemistry of cells, tissue, and organs. Energy medicine at its foundation focuses on the energy fields of the body that organize and control the growth and repair of cells, tissue, and organs. Changing impaired energy patterns may be the most efficient, least invasive way to improve the vitality of organs, cells, and psyche. And I'm going to tell you super briefly, my son that was 2 years old that had a medical situation, they were going to go in, they were going to scrape out his testicle. Okay, fine, I'll just tell you. He had a swollen testicle. They wanted to go in and scrape it out. I said, no, we're not doing that. What we did instead was we used energy medicine, and literally within 5 minutes, the energy practitioner cleared it, and he did not need to do any sort of surgery or...
Talk about least invasive.
Exactly. But every time I read this, I think people have no idea how much this hits home for me as a mom. Do you know what I mean? And anybody who's ever had surgery, you know, it's an invasive thing. I mean, it's not like something that you take lightly, you know? So this is Dr. Feinstein's wife, who is a dear friend of mine, and somebody I adore, somebody I admire greatly. Her definition is vastly different. She's definitely she's giving you the right brain definition here. She says, energy is your body's magic. It's your life force. You keep it healthy and it keeps you healthy. If you're sick or sad, shifting your energies feels good. When you care for these invisible energies, it makes your heart sing and your cells happy. Like, how different is that? It's a very different definition. So when people ask me, like, what all does this encompass? I want you to look at this super brief definition here. Alternative, bioelectric, complementary, holistic, indigenous, integrative, intuitive, spiritual, and traditional modalities. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Like, seriously. Anyway, it really does encompass so much. So there's so many different things that people consider to be energy medicine. And if you find something that doesn't feel right to you, then try something else. You know, if you were to say all energy medicine is bad, or all of it is, you know, like evil, or it doesn't work, or whatever, that's like saying that you went on a date with somebody and you didn't have a good experience, and then you rule out all dating forevermore. Like, come on. Just because it didn't work out with one person doesn't mean that there's not like a better date out there for you, right? Or a better person, more suited. There are so many different modalities out there. So let's talk about some of those. Let me go ahead and do this first. At this time, it's important to note that energy medicine is not a regulated medical practice or a practice that diagnoses or treats illnesses of body or mind, though it may be a complement to such practices. And in fact, lots of energy medicine modalities are being practiced even in hospitals. So we'll talk about more about that a little bit later. Okay, so what is a modality? You guys keep hearing me use that term, and you're probably like, what does that mean? It just means like a technique or like a way of getting something done, right? Like a method or procedure or program, something like that. So like acupuncture would be considered a modality, right? Where foot zoning would be another modality. Just to kind of give you a couple of examples there. Okay. So
would you say it's just a different method of accessing the body's energy field and balancing it and clearing it?
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. And I mean, actually, there's a lot of people that consider nutrition as a modality on its own. Seriously.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think when every vitamin, every mineral, every nutrient that we eat has an effect on our energy and comes with its own frequency and energy that it.
Definitely. Definitely, because everything's vibrating, right? Everything has its own frequency. So exactly. Even a hug is considered really a form of energy medicine, if you want to get technical.
I'm really good at that modality.
That's awesome. Me too. Okay, so let's see. What types of modalities are there out there? Gosh, there are a ton. If you really think about it, this world is full of so many different options and so many different choices, but we're going to touch on just a few real briefly here. So here's some categories: touch, vibration, the mind, chakra, meridian, sight, aura, and even subtle energy. So here's some examples of some touch. You're probably already familiar with some of these, right? Foot zoning is really popular, massage, other body work. Let's go ahead and go on vibrational medicine. Have you heard of sound therapy before? There's actually a sound chiropractor even in Orem. I went down there and he adjusted my neck using a piece of equipment that literally puts a vibration of a certain frequency on your neck, and it literally stimulates it in a way that it adjusts you into the exact order.
Oh my heavens, that's amazing.
It doesn't even touch you. It's only using sound. So there's tons of different forms of sound therapy, but tuning forks, sound bowls, I mean, the list goes on and on, right? The mind, hypnotherapy. I just had a hypnotherapy session the other morning, and it was life-changing, actually. I had this false belief that I was so stuck on this false belief being true, and it was absolutely false. And it was not serving me in any way, shape, or form. In fact, it was kind of heart-wrenching to find out that I had actually believed this particular system. And I'm not talking about like a modality or anything like that. I'm talking about like an actual belief. And it wasn't true. And it was hurting me. So I was able to change that through hypnotherapy. And I'm not talking like hypnotherapy like they're on a stage getting you to cluck like a duck. That's not what I'm talking about here. Hypnotherapy is so authentic and so real. And it works. So long distance proxy work, biofeedback. Biofeedback was something that my neuropsychologist recommended back in 2001 when I was in a car accident. I had intense migraines. I wasn't aware that biofeedback was actually an energy modality. So, I mean, there's all kinds of different things. There's chakra work. We already talked a little bit about some of the modalities that deal with the meridians, but here's a few more, right? Subtle energy is more like if you've ever heard of homeopathy, you can pretty much find those at any health food store, right? Or there's also homeopathic physicians as well. Quantum physics would be another example, and then flower and gem essences, which again, you can find at a lot of different health food stores as well. And here's another list. It's really long. You can pause this video right now and then look at it instead of us like hanging out for 5 minutes and looking at it, but you can pause it and then look at some of these. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me on Facebook. I'd be happy to tell you more about them or give you a link. Or you can just go to energyhealingconference.com and you can find out more about a lot of these. And in addition, transformationalhub.com has a whole directory of practitioners. Many of these modalities are available there.
You know what's striking me looking at that list is the beautiful combination of some of these that are so ancient, really. Like homeopathy has been around for ages, and the Tibetan and acupuncture and acupressure, some of these have just been around for so long, and then others are a little bit more new and modern. And I love how different people have been able to figure out different ways of working with this modalities throughout the ages.
Yeah, I'm so grateful too. I'm like, yay, because they've really blessed my life a lot. I mean, when you have 8 kids, you come across some things and you need help, you need support. And I like to go the more non-traditional, I guess you could say, way of healing. It is, not as invasive, and it doesn't usually cost as much, and it is
has less side effects.
Yeah, we could go on and on, right? But
Well,
yeah,
it's a good place to start there. And then if that doesn't work and you have to move to something more invasive, at least you've
at least you've tried the other stuff. Yeah.
right.
So this here is just referring to what they call in a lot of different more traditional health communities. They call these CAMs or CIH, depending on the hospital or those in the medical community that you're dealing with at that time. And even some insurances are starting to pick up some of these modalities as well. I know on the East Coast, before you go in to get a surgery done, they will actually offer you Reiki as just a complimentary way to be able to help you to relax. And that is an ancient Japanese relaxation method. So if you'd like to do that, you can. And then they also will have that available as you come out of surgery. They did some testing, some clinical studies to find out if it really did make a difference or not. And they found that people actually healed better when they did opt for that. So it's not used in every single hospital, of course, but in many they are opening up to that more because they've seen that and they've noticed the difference.
That gives me hope for the future that barring some event that will have more integrated medicine and be able to have, mainstream doctors using both of these kind of things.
Yeah, well, there's hundreds of integrative doctors, and a lot of them are very open-minded and or functional doctors as well, So this is Dr. Muhammad Oz. He's very well known for saying this quote. He says, "Energy medicine is the next frontier in medicine," and I've been told it is here. I'm like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Very active. So this is just a picture of me with some global leaders. Some of my dear friends, Don Tolman and Dr. Bradley Nelson. Dr. Bradley Nelson is the author of Emotion Code, and Don is known as the Whole Foods Cowboy. Both amazing, incredible, down to earth, absolutely love people. Don teaches often in Australia and other parts of the world, and Dr. Brad literally teaches in so many different countries, just worldwide. They're both dear friends of mine, and so grateful that both of them have spoken at my conferences several times. This is our last slide here. It's just the question that I get a lot. It says, is energy work religious or spiritual? And I have the answer is no particular belief system, allegiance, or religious affiliation is associated with energy medicine. However, many people find that energy work can feel and be spiritual to them. So I think it just depends on, really your how you look at it. Some people think it's more spiritual for them, and some people don't really notice it as being a spiritual thing at all. So I think it just varies from person to person. But I'm so thankful for energy medicine in my own life because, my goodness, I could tell you story after story after story of different times when I've needed something and it helped me out. Just a couple brief stories here. One of my sons, when he was about, I don't remember how old he was now, but he was 5 or 6 years old. He accidentally started himself on fire. We have a wood burning stove in our house, and he had a long t-shirt on, kind of like a little nightgown, right? It was super long, and he was leaning back, and he got caught on fire. And he went running in to where I was. Unfortunately, we had not taught our children stop, drop, and roll at that time. And he came in, he was all up on fire, right? I tried putting it out by fanning him. Of course, that's not a good idea. Because then all of my fingers were blistered as a result. And he's still on fire. In fact, it was now more because I'd given the fire oxygen, right? So I had to pull his shirt off. I threw the shirt down. I ran into the bathroom. And just as I was getting ready to put him into a cold shower, I literally heard in my mind, stop. And I said, okay, come on, God, tell me what to do next. And in my mind, I saw a picture of this tub of salve I had previously just purchased for my foot zoning, just about a week and a half before, like 10 days. And I ran and I got it, and I actually ended up just putting a super thick layer of that all over my son's back. And as long as I blew on it, right, he was fine. But the second that I would stop blowing, he'd freak out screaming again. After like 30 minutes of me nearly hyperventilating, I'm like, okay, I can't do this anymore. So I said a prayer. I called my friend who's an energy worker. She lives 11 hours away from me, and she started to do energy medicine for my son, because you can do it distance. You know what I mean? Energy is energy is energy. She doesn't have to be right in that room. And here's the cool thing. She was able to help him to form new tissues in real time. In less than an hour, he already had pink tissues forming where there had been nothing.
You're kidding me. I can't believe that.
Yeah, things happen like this. I know if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I probably wouldn't believe it either. But I can tell you, I mean, and I'm not saying all that story goes on, but what's incredible is that we have tools that are like this, and if you're open to them, they are available for you. I mean, I could tell you story after story. I really could tell you so many stories, but I'm just so thankful, because even things like getting a foot zone once a month, I feel more in balance. I don't get depressed like I used to. I can get out of bed easier. Gosh, so many other things. It's used for so much for your health. It's a mind, body, spirit. I mean, it really is. It's just awesome. So,
yeah.
what questions do you have for me? Do you have any questions?
For someone who's looking at different practitioners and finding a modality, what would you suggest as far as choosing a good one?
That's a great question. So honestly, I really like being able to tell people to trust for themselves, trust their own intuition. And I encourage people when they're listing stuff on my directory to put their picture on there. You could do a video introduction, that kind of thing. So that way people get to know you a little bit better versus not knowing you, not knowing anything about you, or, you know, because where people get their information from and who they serve, I think makes a difference. I really do.
I think so too. I've also noticed that I feel like as I've gone through different practitioners, some of them seem to have a real natural gift for sensing the energy and communicating with it and that kind of thing. What would you say about that?
Yeah, well, it's really no different than if you sit down and try to play the piano. There's prodigies out there, right? That they can just sit down and boom, they can just bust out a beautiful musical piece. And there's other guys out there that it doesn't matter how many times they take piano lessons, they cannot get these notes down. That's me, by the way, when it comes to the piano. And then there's my great grandmother. She could hear a song on the piano, not even knowing the notes. She could sit down and just bust it out. Like, she seriously was so good. And my great grandma could do that. And also my 16-year-old daughter can do that right now too. So sometimes people just have more of an inclination or a propensity to do certain things, and others, maybe they don't, and that's okay, you know, but they feel drawn to doing certain things because they're good at it. And then there's other people that it takes them more experience, but that doesn't mean that they can't do it or get better at it. So sometimes you might have a practitioner that has more experience, or maybe they have that inclination to go towards those things. You know what I mean?
Natural talent and gift for it.
Yeah.
Yes, very true. Can you, maybe this is a little in depth, but can you explain a little bit more how you can connect with energy independent of distance?
Your energy does not have to be in the same room, because energy is intelligent. It has its own, I guess you could call it a recipe on it, right? And so you can access that just by intention, and somebody who's skilled and knows what they're doing, they can do that very easily. My brother explained it to me once. He said, this was when I was very first, like very, very, very beginning. And he's actually a pharmaceutical rep. So it's kind of funny. He's definitely not in this energy world, but he understood it quite well. He said, if you pray for someone on the other side of the world, can that person be helped? And I said, well, of course. And he said, okay, well, it's done through the elements, right? And the elements are all energy, and they're all intelligent. He said, okay, so why wouldn't somebody be able to do that same type of thing? Why wouldn't they? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just makes sense to me. It feels good and it makes sense. So
interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I think with the prayer analogy, you have God as an intermediary. So I'm not sure that analogy works for me. But I do like the concept that every element, living being, plant, animal, mineral, has its own energy. And so you can kind of travel on that energy that
Yeah, I'm
makes up
definitely
the
not
entire
saying I'm God or anything.
universe. No, and I didn't take it that way.
Okay, good. When you said it, I'm like, wait a minute.
No, not at all. I'm just saying that I can see how there's a pyramid versus, I think with energy, you don't need the intermediary. It's just traveling
Yeah. It's just
through the
easy
energy
to be
that
able to access
surrounds our
that.
physical world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that it's just hard because we can't necessarily see it and touch it. And
I know. It's like this, like,
you need a
seriously,
different sense.
I don't understand everything about how electricity works, yet I'm still totally fine with flipping my light switch on and curling my hair or blow drying my hair. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes you don't understand every single thing that there is to know about it, but it still works. And it's like Wi-Fi. Like I don't understand exactly how Wi-Fi works, but I know that when I turn my computer on, it works. Do you know what I mean? Those
Right.
signals
We
are
know
going.
there's data flying through the air.
If I call somebody that lives on the other side of the country, heck, I can still talk to them. How are they doing that? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
There's a lot of science behind it, but again, this is a beginner type class that we're doing here. Super, super short. I don't know how in detail you want me to go, but there's a couple of analogies also that'll help you understand.
No, I think those were good. Yeah. Another one that comes to mind just real quick is the germ, the theory of germ. For so long we couldn't see the germs and microbes, and now they're a huge part of our world. And like you said, we've got these scanners now that can see and videotape our what did you call it?
Your biofield.
Biofield. That's right. Yeah. So I think
Yeah,
technology is just catching up to things that humans have experienced.
I was going to tell you also with the biofields, how they have that biofield viewer. If you had somebody that was there and they had a tuning fork, so they don't even have to be touching you. You could have the tuning fork like 12 feet away, and they would literally just have the intention that they were literally moving something out of your field, and they would use the tuning fork, and they could do that, and you literally watch it move out of your field. It's really cool. I mean, there's so many different things, but that's just another example of that.
Yes, absolutely. That's kind of fascinating. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
That is super interesting.
Definitely. Now, I love that you're going to be coming and speaking at the Provo conference on December 1st. Do you want to tell us what you're speaking about there?
Thank you. I'm super excited about it. So the last year I've been on a journey to really hone my nutrition skills and help a really special population of people, kids that have autism or ADHD or Down syndrome or anxiety or depression, and really kind of find that food-brain connection. Science is just exploding. Everything that used to think, neurotransmitters were just in the brain, and, all you had to do was take an SSRI or something and, get more of that. And now they're finding it's so connected to what we eat and what our biology is and our gut microbiome. So I'm really excited to talk and share about how food can really help these kids overcome not only their neurological issues, but sometimes they just really struggle with digestion and gas and bloating, and they have pain and they can't speak well, and so they can't express it. And, so much kids can regain their speech capacity. They, find their calm again and calm down their self-abusive behaviors and stimming. And so super excited to share.
I'm so excited for that. That's going to be great. Thank you for coming and doing that.
You bet. And you're going to be talking about, meditation. Is that right?
Yeah, that's going to be one of my main topics I'm going to be speaking on. I also have 3 other classes I'll be addressing. One of them will be how to market yourself as an alternative health advocate. And then also I'll be doing an energy healing class for beginners. So if you'd like to learn how to do some grounding and some basic techniques just to get yourself started as someone who's just becoming affiliated with the idea of energy medicine, that'd be a really good class for you. And then one other class we'll be doing is how to do some boundaries energetically for people who are around other people. It'd be a great class for hospice nurses, people who are out serving the community, who are around a lot of energy. And maybe it can be, like exhausting or just you feel like you're taking on other people's stuff. So we're going to be doing some energetic boundaries and different techniques like that to help you with that.
Yes, and that could be really valuable. And you guys, we have just touched on the amazing array of speakers that are going to be there. So definitely, I'll include a link at the end of this and you can go look at it. And you guys, I have some free tickets that I would love to give away. So please participate in my giveaway so that you can join us there and learn more. And I promise you, you will find new tools to help you in whatever issues you or your family are dealing with. So thank you, Tammy. Thanks for being with us here today. We're so excited about what we've learned, and we just wish you the best from wherever we're at.
Well, thank you so much. I'm excited to see you all there. December 1st in Provo. We'll see you there.
Sounds good. Goodbye, everyone.